Welcome. I'm Janine Pettit,
I'm Lesa McDermott.
co-host of the Girl Camper podcast, and this is another episode of
Are you a crappy camper?
Crappy or Cranky.
Cranky.
Are you a good camper?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be back in a minute talking about some of the ways people may come- become cranky in the camper.
Mhm.
We'll be right back.
Come back. So, in this episode of the Girl Camper podcast, we're going to be talking about some of the things that we hear about through our social media channels. That are you a crappy camper? And in today's, we're going to talk about dogs and generators. But before we dive in, we've got a little word from our sponsor. Take your indoors outdoors with Spacious Skies Campgrounds, a collection of 15 campgrounds and RV parks spanning the eastern United States. Each location is unique, but all offer the perfect escape to the great outdoors if you're looking to spend quality time with friends and family, or you simply need a scenic home base for your nearby adventures. Choose from RV sites, cabins, yurts, retro RV rentals, or tent sites, and enjoy on-site amenities that offer convenience, creature comforts, and fun. Visit us at spaciousskiescampgrounds.com for more information and easy online booking. We welcome and invite all campers to camp on with Spacious Skies Campgrounds. All right. So, topic number one.
Okay.
Let's talk about dogs.
Okay. We have 400,000 members in our Facebook group, so there's always content here, and I love it. 330 comments on this one. And
Wow.
yeah, so this is from Andrea. First names only here. Stopped for the night at a KOA campground in Cloverdale, California, and things were good until a couple pulled in a few spots down with a couple of Pomeranians in the truck. Didn't think too much of it until they set up and had a perimeter fence set up and realized they didn't just have a few Poms, they had 5. Yes, they are super cute, but anyone familiar with this breed knows how high strung they are and bark at everything, which they proceeded to do. Luckily, they took them in for the night, but in the morning, as soon as they were out, they were barking at everything again. I was leaving that morning anyways, but I did ask if it's their first time camping, and she replied, "Oh no." My question, why would you even bring that many dogs camping? I really didn't know what to say, so when I left, I stopped at the office, and apparently everyone had stopped at the office. When I mentioned they had 5 dogs, they seemed surprised. How does everyone handle something like this?
This is a great topic.
You are a dog owner yourself,
Multi-dog owner.
multi-dog owner,
Well,
and you camp with your dogs.
I camp with my dogs all the time. So I think we'd be in agreement on this. It's not, there's good dogs and then there's noisy dogs. And if you have a good dog, good dogs, it doesn't really
Mhm.
matter how many you have,
Right.
as long as they're not out there barking. But you can, whether you have 5 dogs or 1 dog, if they're constantly barking. That is an issue out there in the
That
campground. So you
is.
need to be aware of that and listen. Is your dog constantly barking? If it is,
And if your dogs are outside barking their heads off and you're inside with the door closed and the AC running, what are you thinking?
right, exactly. What are you thinking? And if your dog's out there barking the whole time, maybe it shouldn't be camping with you.
Maybe they're not enjoying the experience.
Exactly. I've been there where we've been out on campgrounds and the owners left to go UTVing,
Mhm.
and they left their big dog outside and it barked the entire
Mhm.
time. And the entire campground was
Oh, so annoyed.
so annoyed by it. And eventually they came back and got word of that and they took the dog back home, which was 2 hours away.
This is why I never camped with my dog. So my dog Buddy, everyone thinks their dog is the best dog in the whole
Hmm.
wide world, and Buddy was the best dog at home. But
Hmm.
that dog had such a hunting instinct, and my son hiked 2,500 miles with him doing the Appalachian Trail, and that dog loved the outside so much, and it was torture for him to be there and not be able to run,
Yeah.
and I couldn't take that instinct out of him, so we left him at home, because then our whole weekend was just keeping that dog quiet so other people could enjoy their weekend.
Right. Right.
I do like that saying, "There's no bad dogs, there's just bad dog owners."
Hmm.
And I camp with 2 of the best women in the world, my friend Lynn and Michelle from Ohio. They do show dogs, they are dog lovers, they are dog owners. You don't even know their dogs are there, and they camp with multiple dogs. Then we'll
Mhm,
bring 3 dogs, and I forget what breed they are, but anyway, they're very well trained and they're very well loved, and if the weather gets crappy or something goes wrong, she's taking care of those dogs. You know,
mhm,
she has them in a pen, but they're not barking. If they begin to misbehave or become agitated, she knows they have some need that isn't being met right now. She
mhm.
goes and meets that need.
Right, right.
So if you're going to bring dogs to a campground, you can't expect everybody else to adjust
Yeah,
to your dog.
be your dog. Yeah, be aware of them. And you bring up a good point with the show dogs.
Mhm.
I know when I've seen people that have multiple dogs, like 4 or 5, a lot of times they're show
Mhm.
people, and they're on a circuit, and they're traveling somewhere to take their dogs to
Oh,
show
I
them,
didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's
mhm,
true.
you know? But I recently camped with a gal that she came with 4 little, Papillon, to make sure I say that right,
Mm.
because I'm from Nebraska and the town is called Papillion, but it's also Papillon. So she came with these 4 dogs, and she was telling me that she had tried to go to an event with another women's group and was forbidden to come because their rule is only 2 dogs, at their events. Now we're just talking coming to the event, not bringing animals to the meals or activities. It's just to their period, and first of all, I'm like, "Whose business is it how many animals I have at my campsite?"
Right.
Because she was asking me about Girl Camper and what our policy is, and that's what I told her. I said,
Our policy is whatever the campground's policy is.
"Exactly. Yeah,
I don't care how many dogs you bring.
you bring however many you want.
Yeah.
And then it's up to our event hostess whether or not the pet, because I now camp with a cat, is allowed at the group activities, the campfire, the
Right.
meals, or not. And
There are people who are afraid of dogs,
yeah,
allergic to dogs. So when we
mhm,
have group gatherings at Girl Camper, a lot of times the hostess will say, no pets, even on a leash at meal times
yeah,
or at the fire pit. And,
right.
that's okay.
Everybody,
You have all day to be with your dog. If you can't leave your dog at the camper while you eat with people, then you have to eat by yourself, I guess. But we don't stop people from bringing their pets. It's none of our concern.
right.
It's just your job to care for them. And I always
Mhm,
say, whatever the campground policy is what our policy is.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's interesting to me because this is a hot topic,
Mhm,
on the sites all the time, and it reminds me of a story a couple years ago, well, more now, because my daughter graduated from high school, I think, in 2017. Anyway, my mom was up here, and I think at that time, my mom's 86 now, I don't know, so my mom was 76, 77 years old. She hadn't been camping since we were kids, so this was her first camp out in, like, 40 years, and I really begged her to go with me, and I took my daughter and my mom, and we had these 3 generations, we were gonna go on this memory-making camp out, and I had my new Riverside Retro, and we're at this campground up in Connecticut, and my mom goes out in the morning, and she's in one of those reproduction, aluminum chairs from, like, the '50s
Oh,
with the
right.
woven,
Yeah.
not the sturdiest. That's why I'm telling you what kind of chair that is.
Mhm.
So my mom's sitting out there in the fire in the morning, and there's a seasonal camper in the site next to us. Well, they open their door in the morning, and these 2 giant dogs come bounding out, no leashes, right across the meadow. It was high grass and rocks and everything between it. Those dogs just leaped over everything, and my mom is so terrified of dogs, and she went like this. Thankfully, I was sitting right next to her because the dog was coming, and she went up like this, and the chair started to fall.
Mm,
I was standing there and I had to really work to keep my mom upright
mhm.
and get that chair back, and the people are running after, so I caught my mom. The dog did scare her, touched her, got on her,
Yeah. Mm.
and people come over and go, "Oh, this those people, they just love the camper." Well, now people love dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a dog lover, but I can say, just because I am doesn't mean you have to be.
Right. We have a girl camper, one of our members that is highly allergic to dogs. So you've got to be respectful of that.
Right.
You know,
Well, naturally, 330 comments on this, so let's see
Mhm.
what people are saying. Oh my gosh. And here comes your barking dog.
Yeah, my that's that side on my property though.
Yes, how dare he? I travel with 10 hounds. That's like asking people why people travel with their 5 kids. I'm considerate though, and they get their bark collars if they make too much noise. Wish people could put those on. Well, no comment there. 10 hounds, though. I
10
mean, he
hounds,
must be a
wow.
breeder, like you said. I mean,
A
that's a
show dog,
breeder or a show
something?
dog or
Yeah.
something like
Mhm.
that. This is why Marie says, "This is why I try to avoid camping at campgrounds. That being said, I just got back from a 4-day trip to a dog show where there were hundreds of dogs packed into wall-to-wall campers, and the whole thing was relatively peaceful, and the nights were quiet. Training, people, training."
Yeah.
What we said, there's no
Mhm.
bad dogs, there's just bad dog owners. All right, let's see. We travel, this is Deborah. We travel with 5 dogs and 5 cats. We bought a Class C toy hauler for the patio for the dogs. We sit in a large garage and they enjoy the patio. Oh, they bought a Class C toy hauler. I'm like, okay, I'm not reading it wrong. They bought a toy hauler, which is a great thing to have when you're
Mhm.
traveling with that many pets. Okay, we sit in the garage, which for those who don't know is the big back space of a toy hauler, and the back opens up and you have a patio out there, so you're off the ground, but the dogs are contained. We taught them no bark. We watch for triggers and remind them of the rule. We have been working with them for over a year. I won't say they never open their mouths, but we get them after 1 or 2 barks, and they all of them don't join in. The Chihuahua is the most difficult. 'Cause Chihuahuas are. We had a cutest dog ever, but did like to yap. The Chihuahua is the most difficult, but even she will stop. We don't leave them out on the patio alone, key there. And we only just now started leaving them in the camper for up to 30 minutes while we take a shower. So they're acclimating them to that.
Mhm.
Sometimes we will scare them when we open the door, but a no bark stops them. So they're teaching them by command.
Mm.
We camp at KOAs and state parks and have never had any complaints. We seem to get a lot of sites near the office or near the camp host. It's a matter of working with them to teach manners. Oh, she even sent a video in of how good, how well behaved her dogs are.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all about training.
Yeah, all about training and being aware. Be
Hmm.
aware of what your pet is doing,
Hmm.
and would you like to be camped next to someone who has a pet that is doing that?
Yeah.
And if not, then think about it.
Yeah.
Do the
Yeah.
training or maybe leave your pet at home.
Okay. We're going to come back after we talk to our sponsors, but we're going to be talking about generators.
Another hot topic.
Be right back.
Hey, this is Lesa with Girl Camper, and I love my RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding. I tossed out the hard as a rock stock mattress that came with my little teardrop camper, and I replaced it with 2 twin mattresses and a nice topper, all from RV Mattress. Now my bed is super comfortable, and I'm able to get a good night's sleep when I'm out camping. If you're looking for a new bed for your camper or home, be sure to check out rvmattress.com/girlcamper, and you'll get 25% off. That's rvmattress.com/girlcamper.
Okay.
All right, we're
We're
back.
back. We're back. We're back. Okay. From Tracy. Hi, girls. I had this van built out into a cozy home on wheels last year. I rarely stay at campgrounds, but tonight I am staying at a county campground. No electric, no water, and the sound of the generator coming from the camper family next door makes me want to go berserk. Sure, it's for their AC, even though it's a cool night here in Minnesota after a big storm. I'm just saying, quiet is good. Generator noise is bad. Happy Friday. Have a beautiful night wherever you are.
Yeah, generator noise. We hear this complaint a lot.
A lot.
And I think no matter where you're camping, whether it is in a county fairgrounds, whatever,
Hmm.
campground, stick to the rules that you see at campground.
Hmm.
No
Most
noise
camper
after
have generator rules.
yeah,
Yeah. There's no generators after 11 p.m.
or 10 PM sometimes. I think quiet time 10 to 6 AM or 10 to 7 AM. Respect that. Now, unless
Mhm.
you are out boondocking in the middle of nowhere and there is no one else.
Around.
Yeah,
Absolutely no one.
miles around, then okay, but if someone pulls up near you, yeah, respect that because
So
you
we
wouldn't
were
like it.
camping at Rocky Mountain National Park, and it's no hookups. No
Mhm.
hookups at all. Which I personally love, but, I mean, we're in Rocky Mountain National Park in July. Now, inside the camper during the day got warm, but by night, you're closing all the windows. It's dropping
Oh,
into the 40s,
yeah.
But the people across from us had a generator, And boy, oh boy, they ran that thing till 10:59
Yeah.
PM. They're watching TV in there,
Mhm.
making popcorn, I don't know, like, but we had to put up with it. I mean,
Yep.
they knew what the rules were, they ran it
Mhm.
exactly to the minute they had to. You getting a spot at Rocky Mountain, you have to do it a year in advance. Not
Mhm.
like we could have moved someplace
Right.
else. So, you know that when you're going in, you might get lucky and not have a generator. I mean, we never used the generator
Right.
there, but this was an older camper. It wasn't even so much the noise that bothered me, it smelled.
Oh,
The
the
fumes.
fume
Oh my
smell, the
god, they
gas
were
fume smell.
wafting right into our
Yeah,
window.
that would not be fun.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
anyway, most campgrounds do have a rule when
Quiet
it
hours.
comes to generator.
Yep. And if someone violates it, go talk to the camp host or the
Yeah.
campground manager, let them know, and they will talk to that person, hopefully.
I feel now that RVs are becoming more and more high tech with
Mhm.
all the solar and the lithium batteries. The generator thing is less of a thing.
Very much. We're seeing, people would have the generators so that they could run their air conditioning because you needed that
Mhm.
extra jolt of power. But now with the improvements in the lithium batteries and the solar
Mhm.
and the ACs, we're definitely seeing a big trend of air conditioners being able to run off of plenty of
Mhm.
solar power, which is great. You know.
I have seen people in like Cracker Barrel parking lot pull a gasoline powered generator off
Mhm.
the back of a truck in a parking lot at Walmart, at Cracker Barrel, and fire that thing up.
Yeah,
You're dedicated when you're doing
you
that.
are definitely dedicated.
How if you're a camper when you're doing that?
I,
Like if you need that level.
comfort. Yeah. Now, some people, will make the argument, well, I have a CPAP machine. So what do we
Mhm.
do in those cases? If you're somebody that needs a CPAP, then I think you need to look at one of the rechargeable portable power systems, the
Mhm.
Jackeries, the Lion Energies, the Go
Mhm.
Powers that they have.
Mhm.
They'll run your CPAP all night if you've got it fully
I
charged.
have the 1,000-watt Jackery.
Yeah.
I use it far more at home than I use it for camping.
Hmm.
And there's even bigger ones now, so maybe that's the way to go.
I think it is. I have an 800-watt Jackery, and honestly, I've never on a camping trip drained it past
Mhm.
80%, which but I use it very sparingly,
Yeah.
but I also know that, if I had something that I needed to run for a long time, it would, so
And I have the Go Power one that also has the solar.
nice.
So I have the lithium Go Power rechargeable pack, and I have the, portable solar panels that go with that. So I feel like with the whole generator thing,
Mhm.
there's so many options now,
Yes. So many
and
options.
maybe you need to think about that.
And if you do need to get a generator, be aware of what the noise level is. Don't go by
There
the cheap
Get the little Honda
generator
2000,
that love
purrs like a kitten.
and its decibel level is between 47 and I think 55. Aim for those levels on a
Mhm,
generator. You want them at that level because they are very quiet. Don't go get the cheap ones that maybe you can
mhm,
get, at some of the big box stores that are discounts, because they're going to be loud,
mhm.
and your neighbors from 2 miles away are going to be able to hear that. So think about what are you going to be hearing at the campground, much less the people that are right next to you. Be aware of those decibel levels and try to shoot for something at 55 or lower on the decibel level.
I didn't even know there was a decibel level. I never thought of that, but I do know that people rave about the Honda 2000.
I actually have the Honda
Do
2000
you?
and the companion one, because at a time I thought I needed that
Mhm,
to go camping. I honestly have only used them, I think, in the 7, 8 years I've owned them,
mhm,
3 times camping, and twice was in the very first year to test them out. And
mhm.
n- I've never used them really
I
since.
I feel like the stuff I bought like that, I end up using at home in storms
Yes. Yep.
with power outages at home, and I do love that about camping equipment
Hmm.
because it's dual duty,
Yep.
but it surprises me how much stuff. I took my Jackery out of the basement the other day because we had a big electrical storm and now it's not gonna power your refrigerator,
Right.
but I could keep my phone
Yep.
going and I could plug my laptop into it
Make a cup of coffee.
yeah, so I just feel too like the longer I camp, the more I do it, the less I
Yes,
sounds
definitely.
weird since I just bought a fifth wheel, but that has all kinds of solar and,
Mhm.
I'm hooked up. So, but like accoutrements that you take on camping trips with you,
Yeah. You maybe don't need 8 solar lights,
Lucy
the
lights.
Lucy lights, or
Yeah.
yeah, maybe 1 or 2 will be just fine, and
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah. I have a lot of stuff that needs recharging, it
mhm,
seems like.
same.
All right. Well, that's our latest episode of Are You a Cranky Camper?
Or crappy camper.
Crappy camper?
Creaky crappy.
Yeah. Try to
Yeah,
be a nice camper, right?
try to be a nice camper. Exactly.
Send your letters to us at girlcamper.com
Or in the
or
comments for this show.
comments for the
Mhm.
show or contact at Girl Camper. Make sure you sign up. Follow us on Facebook,
Instagram,
Instagram,
TikTok.
TikTok,
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching
and
this
our
on YouTube,
magazine.
and our magazine,
Mhm,
and on our if you're podcasting, listening to
mhm,
this, then be sure to subscribe to our podcast too.
and share it with a friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Happy trails.